Hey everybody, it's Carlos live at SHOT Show 2020. I am here with Eric from the Outer Limitless channel and Tom from the FN booth.
Nice to meet you, Carlos.
So nice to meet you, Tom.
Awesome, man.
Okay, so just to give you a little bit about my history with FN, it reaches as far back as the FN9C. It was a great carry weapon. I really enjoyed it. I wanted to graduate into something slightly larger with a slightly larger capacity. The 509 series came out, and then the Midsize came out, and I was sold. I picked it up. Unfortunately, I got rid of my 9C, and something kind of just drew me to the size. I think the fact that it had the 12 round capacity for the 9mm, and you were able to put in the extended magazine. It was very modular in that particular aspect. You can create a home defense weapon and a carry weapon at the same time. What do you have that's new or current for 2020 that would kind of fit that niche from the 9C?
Well, so what you have down here is the 509 Compact Mrd. We'll get in a little more about that, but what was interesting is you were saying you were coming from the 9C. So some people might remember, but the 509 itself kind of started with the FN9C. So what we did is we grew that platform to make a bigger gun, but that allowed us to do all the things that we have here today. So what this is kind of that same platform you were used to in the FN9C, but with all the upgrades of the 509. And one of the big limitations of the FN9C was that you couldn't really mount an optic on it. So that's what you're going to see showcased down here on the 509C. So right here you got the Holosun 507C, but you can mount the Trijicon RMR, SRO, Leupold Delta Point Pro, Aimpoint Acro, all the Vortexes, you name it.
So this is the optics writing model. It is currently available?
Yep, it's currently available. MSRP is like $799.
Okay.
Street's probably around $700. But what's cool about it? So what you were talking about with the different magazines, right?
Yes.
So it ships with this 12 rounds, and without disturbing the gun, basically most people can get a full firing grip on there.
See if I can get that here.
All right. So it really helps mitigate that recoil while making it a little more manageable to shoot. And then just like the FN9C that shipped with an extra magazine, this one ships with the 15, but then you can put the 17s and the 24 round stick mags in there, and now you got all the flexibility you want, still getting all the optics choices and the ability to mount most of the duty style flashlights.
Okay. You mentioned about the magazines. I did notice that there was the one with the pinky extension. Mm-hmm. Is there a possibility to get one with, say, a somewhat flat, a flush base plate? I'm actually used to training with, a smaller subcompact firearms. So typically, I'll just go ahead and put my 2 fingers down and then loop my third on the bottom to kind of give it a better purchase, and with my follow-up shots.
Makes sense.
So I do see here I can get that full grip on here, which is great when you're going to go ahead and draw and present it.
Yep.
But for people that have trained with smaller firearms, is there a flush magazine that's available for this?
So we find most people prefer this, but we did develop a flush as well, so you can buy that and just interchange the floor plate. If you personally need one, man, we'll take care of you. But what we wanted to do with the 509C is offer all those options. So most people prefer this, but you can change the floor plates to the flush fit, or like we were saying, you can run all the extended magazines you want.
Great. Now, one thing I really liked about the 9C series was the trigger. There are other companies that have used the hinge trigger, but I mean, to put it mildly, they failed spectacularly.
So I feel like a lot of people kind of knock on the hinge trigger because some of the other options. I personally, and it sounds like you too, I prefer it because I don't get that trigger slap from the safety, but it is a little bit different. I personally prefer it because once you collapse the trigger safety like you did, just kind of naturally, it feels like one shoe. So.
Yeah, no, and just the feel of the hinge trigger as you're moving it, it's a nice smooth uptake. I mean, I'm a really big fan of this particular gun, of the FN series, and I think that's something that translated really well from the 9C to the 509. The 509, this is the compact, you said, correct?
Yep, this is the compact. Obviously the midsize is kind of that 15 round grip, and then we have the standard, which is the 17 round grip, 4-inch slide.
Perfect. So Tom, we talked a little bit about the 509 compact. and like I had mentioned earlier, the versatility of the 9C kind of translates to the 509 Compact, in which you can go ahead and add those extended magazines to be able to use it as a home defense weapon. But say I want something for the people that go bump in the night.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So what you're going to see right here is that same gun with one of the extended magazines, but see, this gun right here is maybe a little smaller, easier to conceal, but then once you put a proper flashlight on it and an optic, now you got kind of that big gun with the same flexibility, or with the flexibility to go up to easier to manage, say, home defense style gun.
Oh yeah.
Then you just kind of swap the magazine, remove the light, and then you end up with something like this, which would be much easier to conceal. So it really provides a lot of flexibility in the system.
Nice. So the show here, you guys have it set up with the TLR1, the TLR1 HL from Streetlight, and the Trigon RMR. That's the way to go on this, man. Let me tell you. It comes with the suppressor height sights already, and
so that's one of the great features about the MRDs in general from us, is that pretty much all the optics of the Aimpoint Acro, even the Delta Point Pro, you can all get the co-witness and still be able to, if your battery goes down or the optic fails for some reason, still use the iron sights. And what's actually nice is a lot of people are just kind of getting into optics, and they might struggle a little bit. Well, I tell them, hey, you got the sights, line up the sights and the dot will be there. And then what a lot of people do is subconsciously they just keep aiming with the iron sights, and then all of a sudden they don't realize their brain flips to the dot. So that's a really nice feature, that you're always going to have the sights there just in case you need them.
Awesome. That's a really good thing to point out here.
So if you want to learn more about the FN509, you can always check out FNAmerica.com. Hit up your website. I know you guys got a lot of info out there.
Great. Thank you so much for taking a moment to go over a few of the models here at the FN booth. I hope you guys have a great SHOT Show.
Yes.
Guys, this is Tom. It's Carlos from Daily Carry Solutions. I'm here with Eric from the Outer Limitless YouTube channel, SHOT Show 2020. Take it easy, guys.
This fucking guy.